welcome to my garden. Today I am planting hydrangeas. So George and I went to the garden center and I could not resist when I saw these hydrangeas. I really didn't have intention of buying it at the time, but I did have a space for it. So we decided to go ahead and get 3 to group them. Look how beautiful they are. So these are moped hydrangeas, which, you know, it's great because I don't have any in my garden at the moment as a moped hydrangeas. They are absolutely gorgeous. I don't know how I'm going to keep them in this shade necessarily. However, I'm going to try. And so big leaf hydrangeas, if many of you don't know, they can change their color. It depends on your soil. So if your soil is acidic, they will turn blue. If your soil is alkaline, they will turn pink. For example, for me, I have an alkaline soil. Therefore, some of my rhododendrons didn't survive. I mean, they did survive, but they were barely surviving. So I decided not to torture them anymore. I dug them out and I potted them. Maybe I can show you. I potted them in a pot into the acidic soil, which I bought from the store. And you know, just because they really didn't, they just weren't doing very good at all. So, and I kept them, I put them into the more of a woodland area. You can see it has a filtered sun here, and look how good they're doing. They probably have been potted maybe a week, and I mean, they are already doing so much better than they did when they were into the ground. You can see the new leaves are looking healthy, coming out. The buds are already. This is a beautiful rhododendron because you can see it has apricot colors, and I tried everything possible. I was giving them aluminum sulfate. I've been trying to do everything, but you know, when they just don't like being in alkaline soil, they just don't like being in alkaline soil. It's kind of hard. However, I was reading again yesterday, and everybody says the aluminum sulfate is the most reliable source to keep your soil acidic, but it does take time. So I will try and see where I'm going to get. So I haven't really had great luck with that yet. There's another one that I planted in a pot because it just really wasn't doing too good in the ground. I'm hoping to give them a chance and probably keep them in a pot in the garden here, which it will be okay. So anyway, but because of that, I have a new space, which I'm not really too sad about, to plant these gorgeous hydrangeas. And when I plant them, I am going to mix some aluminum sulfate in the soil, hopefully just initially, and try to give them that, you know, blue color if possible. At least it will be in the soil. So we'll see how it does. Even if it doesn't keep the color into this beautiful lavender color, it will still be beautiful pink color, so it's not a problem. But you know, we can change our soil. We'll do the best we can, and they still will be stunning. So my rhododendron was right here, and you can see the hole. This is where it was planted, and it just didn't do well. Look at this lupin. Isn't this lupin looking really pretty? It takes them quite a bit to establish, but when they do, they're really reliable and beautiful. I love their leaves. So in the front of this beautiful sculpture, I have dahlias. I have 2 dahlias, which at this point I'm thinking I probably need to go ahead and transplant them. Going to carefully to dig them up and hopefully take them probably in a little more sunnier spot for them to grow. I think it will be, this is a little more shady area, but I think it will be perfect for the hydrangeas because they really don't like, I'm finding that they really don't like too much shade. And I think previously I did plant some of the hydrangeas in a shadier spot under the trees and thinking, and they did okay, but I feel like now, since I have a little more experience with them, I'm realizing that any hydrangeas that I planted in a little more sunnier spot where maybe it has a partial shade, they do so much better. So this area is going to be, I think, perfect light for them. Eventually I will trim this gorgeous Japanese maple, maybe just a little bit to give a little more light here. Eventually that one tree I'm planning on to removing because it does create too much, takes the light away. So I'm going to eventually remove one of the trees and leave this one. I think one is beautiful, and then I will let a little more light to come in. Also, in this area here, I have David Austin climbing rose that I planted, and it's doing really, really great this year. I think I showed you the pictures. This is the Austin Fodder climbing rose, and it has the most gorgeous structure of the petals, and also the color is very deep apricot color, very, very pretty. And you can see it has a nice new shoot coming out, so it's very healthy, and it does get plenty of sun. If I can maybe trim this limb a little bit, it will be fine. But my idea of this climbing rose here, hopefully to peg it and maybe just bring it over the sculpture a little bit, not too much to cover it, but just bring a little bit to soften the sculpture and show off the beautiful blooms of the rose. And this climbing rose is not very big. That's the reason why I planted here. It only goes on 1.80 centimeters, I believe. So I think it's going to be absolutely gorgeous here. And in the base of it right here, I think that hydrangeas will just make gorgeous show if we plant and get them maturing here. So what I will do, I'll go ahead and dig these two dahlias and try to transplant them, and then we'll set our hydrangeas. And then I have two other hydrangeas. We went into the store and look what we found. It's such a treasure, and it was, I think my friend Mary is always she's going to laugh again, because I always say we found a really great deal in Lidl, and it was in a Lidl. What can I say? I mean, look at this, and I couldn't resist it. I have perfect spot for them. I'm going to plant them up in the woodland area. It's going to be gorgeous. Look at the size of these flowers. The plant is not super big, but the flowers are huge, and they probably fed them really well, or I don't know. But this one is also kind of it's a moped variety, but look how huge they are. Stunning, absolutely stunning. So these two, we'll go ahead and plant them up there after we get these guys in. And it's kind of sunny right now. At the moment, we had lots of rain, and it's been kind of cold. Yesterday was a little bit chilly. I did get out and try to remove a ton of weeds, and actually had really good progress in the garden. I got quite a bit of done. So today I'm going to go into the north side of the house and try to get all the weeds clean up there as well. That's my goal right after planting these hydrangeas. And it's been a really nice day, but the sun came out, which is gorgeous, but the hydrangeas are in direct sun, and I don't like that. So I'm going to place them in a shady spot for the moment, maybe under here. Not super shady, but it will be protection. And then I'm going to very quickly try to tackle this project, because they do need a little shelter from the sun. I did give them some water, make sure they survive until I get them into the ground. So, all right, let's get going with this. Okay, so it looks like we are going to plant about this way. So as you can see, I grouped it. There is a little more space here that I like, but I might move some of them, I'm not sure. But I also forgot to show you the type of hydrangea, which, let's go ahead and see what kind is it. Oh, it's called napping blue. Look at this. Hydrangea microphylla. napping. Is it napping? Numping. Numping. Numping blue. I thought it was napping for some reason. Anyway, and it should get about 180 centimeter to 100 centimeter tall, which is perfect for this area. It's not going to get super huge. It's going to remain, and for the pruning of microphylla hydrangeas, usually it's in the fall. I try to prune them in the spring only when I see some dead branches. That's all, because sometimes they bloom on old wood, and now new creations, they also bloom on old wood and new wood. So if in the spring you start trimming them, you more than likely will cut off all the developed buds for the flowers, because they start forming their buds previous summer or previous fall. And so it is normally a very good idea to trim them literally right after blooming, if you have to trim them to control size, but otherwise you don't even have to trim them. And then in the spring, just make sure, if there is any dead branches that you need to remove, or diseased branches, you can remove them, or if, for those kind of reasons, but not necessarily controlling size, because at that point you will cut off all the beautiful blooms for that season. So it's not a big deal if you do, because you'll always have flowers the following season. It's just that you will lose for that particular season. Anyway, I think I'm going to start planting them. I'm really, really excited. I think this looks very beautiful here. So in fact, it is going to be better if I plant this hydrangeas just a little bit forward and give a little space between them and the sculpture, because as this climbing rose starts growing, if I have to peg them in the front or bring them on top, above the hydrangeas, has plenty of room, I think, to get that done. So I think it is better to have a little space there for the future. All right, so before I plant, what I'm going to do is amend the soil. So I just have a regular bag of compost, nothing too major, and like a potting soil. So what I'm going to do, amend my clay soil a little bit, and sprinkle some aluminum sulfate, mix it in really well, and basically put some mycorrhizal fungi into the soil for the root development, and go ahead and plant the hydrangeas. Water them really well. I already fed them a little bit, so I don't think I need to do that for the moment, until maybe a little later. But I think simple. Okay, so I am finished planting. We saw this. Look how gorgeous this is. I wish I had another one literally right there, but I feel like it's going to be really close to the tree roots. So what I will do is probably plant another lupin in that area, in that corner right there, and then let the poke through, just like this one. Look how picturesque this is with the beautiful lupin coming through the hydrangeas and the drift of hydrangeas. I think it's looking really pretty, but I believe that I might need another lupin right there, which hopefully I can get my hands on, figure it out if I can get one. Preferably this color, which would be really pretty. We'll see if I can find one eventually. I'll hold that spot for it, and then I will also have a little room there to have that climbing rose come through and maybe just drift around. I probably will peg it and see how it will soften this area with gorgeous blooms, and the sculpture I think is going to look really pretty. Hopefully maybe I could bring some on it. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, this is what's going on here. The peonies are done. We have David Austin roses. We had so much rain. Some of them are kind of a little damaged from the rain last couple of days, and I do need to start deadheading. I've spent so much time deadheading yesterday, and you can see I deadheaded all the roses, and roses I don't put them in my compost just because roses have diseases and I don't want to carry that back into the garden. So I usually dispose all the roses, so I always kind of try to do it in phases. So I deadhead the roses, and then in the different buckets where I go ahead and prune all my other things that goes into the compost. For example, all the peonies, you can see they need to be already deadheaded, which hopefully I can get to it today. Get them deadheaded. All of this will go into the compost. So it's everyday process now. But I love how that looks. I think that's really, really gorgeous. And let's go ahead and I'll show you where I planted all the rest of the stuff. So as we come this area, isn't this just so beautiful? This part of the garden too, it's starting to really come on its own. The plants are really maturing here. Look at this rose has been done this year the best, and I almost never like this rose just because I don't know, they just always been really sick and not do well for me. But this year they're definitely keepers. Look at this gorgeous bloom. I absolutely adore this rose this year. So this one is called Black Baccarat, and again I was more diligent and I was able to get my hands on copper fungicide. I'm glad that I was able to spray some this spring, and the roses are really doing a lot better this year, so I'm excited about that. And then the new rose opened. This is the first time, which I'm really excited. It's absolutely stunning. Look at this. This is called Florentina. This one is a climbing rose. I planted this about a couple of years ago, and I'm hoping to kind of bring it through over the fence. And boy, doesn't this is just so gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. And so I have lots of buds this year. This is the first year of its bloom, and it's going to be really pretty. I love that red color. It's almost red, but it has more of a, I don't know, copper to it. I don't know. It's just very fluorescent. I love it. It's very pretty. So I planted dahlias here. This is the area also where, see, I have to plant these containers. They're still empty. Need to get those filled. But for the moment here, so I had another rhododendron here, which I showed you how I moved them in a pot because again it wasn't doing good, and it was really getting dry here too, especially in the winter that we weren't here. I think these trees didn't really let this area to get enough moisture, A, because their roots, and B, they're also, I don't know, they just won't let too much water get here, I think because of this area is always dry for some reason. It's because it's underneath them. So I moved the rhododendron to be healthier. What I'm going to do in this area, I have another rose that I have to transplant. I would like to transplant it here, and then I have some other things. I have another plant here. But for the moment, I went ahead and planted my two dahlias right here. This is a really pretty rose called the Smile of Heaven, I believe. It has a kind of a corally pink color, very, very pretty. I think these two will be really great here. And since we have more sun coming, since the trees are gone, I'm really excited. I was so panicked at first. I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And now I absolutely love it. The sun has been just great on for my plants. And then I have two pinnacle hydrangeas here. They're called silver dollar. So they will probably get kind of tall. This one, it was not, it was very young when I planted. It's been several years to get to this point, and it was just not great the way it started growing. So I actually dug it out and replanted it. That's why it's a little bit unhappy at the moment, but it will acclimate. There's another one right there, so I will have two pinnacle hydrangeas here, which will be gorgeous. You guys, I have no idea what's going on with this tree. I am so sad. I tried to scratch it off a little bit to see if it's still alive. In some areas I caught it, it was live, some areas I don't. I don't know what is going on. It's not coming back. The other one is doing really great, and this one I don't know what to do yet, so I'm keep letting it be. I'm hoping it starts leafing out so I can see what areas are alive and dead. I don't know. I need to probably go start cutting and see where I hit the green parts. But I really don't want to damage it by keep cutting them. I wish I could just start leafing out so I can see where the dead areas are. So I might give a little more time and figure it out. Last year it did okay. I think it was just lack of light. I think that's the problem. It was just lack of light. It was too much in the shade here. These trees are blocking way too much light, but we'll see. If it's not, I just have to unfortunately dig it out, and I'm gonna lose this tree, which is very unfortunate because they're very expensive. Not happy about that, but it is what it is. It's gardening. So anyway, but this area is filling out really, really well. Eventually, when we can remove some of the trees and branches, as we've done a lot and just so much still to go. It's kind of never ending, but it will eventually start doing really, really well. So let's go ahead and I'll show you where the other two hydrangeas I planted. I planted them in this other woodland area here. Just left my stuff here, sorry about that. So you can see this woodland area is coming together really, really well. So this is a David Aston Rose Benjamin Britten, and look how beautiful this color is. Isn't this just gorgeous? Such a unique color. Some of his roses are just sometimes blows me away how unique their colors are. They're just unbelievable how they've been created. I'm just so amazed. And then this one is another one of his roses that I absolutely love. This one is a Jubilee Celebration, and this one is also one of them that they discontinued, unfortunately. But look how unique this color is. It's almost mauve, and then it has interesting creamy yellow color under the petals, undertone, and it's just really, really very, very beautiful rose. I think very interesting rose. So you can see the two hydrangeas I planted, one right here and one right here. I think they will be really, really pretty. I have a couple of hydrangeas planted here too, like this one. I have one here and then another one right here, and they did really well last year. So this one, this is a stargazer, really beautiful, kind of moped hydrangea. It's not fully, ball shape. It has little florets in the center, but it has very double flowers around the little florets. It's bicolor. It has, I think it's pink and white. If it's acidic, will be blue and white. It's really, really interesting hydrangea. So I have two, and I decided to plant two of them right here to fill in this area. And here I also would love to plant some lupins too, for the shape of them, to kind of poke through their beautiful flowers with more of a kind of a long spiky shape, which would be really, really pretty. So yeah, and then really quickly I wanted to show you this climbing rose I pegged. This one is the Claire. This one was Claire Renaissance, I think. It's Claire Renaissance. I can't remember. I think it is. This is just so pretty. It has a coral centers, you can see, and you can see how I pegged them. This part has died, but I'm kind of trying to let it sit because it's tied up. So this is a really great way to have climbing roses. If you don't have arbor and you don't have a space to put your arbor, you can always have the climbing roses and just peg the long canes into the ground and just keep these gorgeous climbing roses blooming all over their long canes. I also wanted to show you Leonardo da Vinci roses. This is a shrub rose, and look how gorgeous they are. This year they have outdone themselves. They are very pretty, have ton of buds. You can see, absolutely gorgeous. And I really didn't want to miss out in showing you how beautiful this place is coming out. Hopefully I can get this project finished eventually, and it's going to be absolutely gorgeous. I hope you guys like this video. So this is what basically I do all day, but I'm so glad I was able to plant the hydrangeas, add more hydrangeas. I really miss my big hydrangea garden that I created in the beginning, but I feel like things have changed, the lights has changed, and dynamics of the garden is changing, and I feel like I need to add more hydrangeas. I do miss them a lot. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. Please don't forget to subscribe to my videos if you like them. Have a great day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.